best entertainment on the earth. Tune in for Comics with Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch, and we're going to talk about villains again, or at least the villains roster that fit certain characters, or their rogues gallery. We got a cool email here to read for you. But I want to reiterate a point I made in another video, just to get it out there again, which was, because it kind of fits this discussion. To me, the goal of a villain in comic books, in the superhero comic genre, is that the villain should usually or often be overpowered compared to the hero. The villain should have more coming out of the box going for them. And sometimes you can get kind of more esoteric and have the thing that they have going for them is they have no morals, so they're willing to kind of, destroy innocent civilians and destroy a town where the hero wouldn't be. And you can certainly use that as a natural built-in advantage. But overall, villains, I think, in a classic superhero story, need to be higher powered than the heroes, and you do that because the key magic in a superhero comic is that the hero has to overcome odds in order to win. That's part of what the heroic journey is. If you look at different forms of literature, books, other things, the hero's journey is meant to be a struggle. It's meant to be a sacrifice. It's meant to be something that you don't know that the hero is going to achieve. It is not a journey. It is a hero's journey. It is the recognition and realization of inner strengths and inner skills that the hero didn't know that they had. And that is, tested either through kind of inner strain, the hero is battling some kind of internal mechanism, or external factors like villains. Those two elements make up the hero's journey. Lots of people can discuss it, and lots of people can talk about the structure of that story, but at its core, a hero's journey has to include conflict, and it has to include achieving over obstacles or achieving over odds, inward or outward. Really great superhero stories manage to do both. They have somebody like a Peter Parker who is battling self-doubt about something and is also battling kind of the Sinister Six, not just one villain, but six villains all coming at him. He is outmatched, he's overpowered, and he's battling his own inner demons. That is the hero journey, and that's why we cheer for Spider-Man. We are excited to figure out how he's going to somehow get out of this jam that he's in. And the challenge with a lot of modern superhero comics is they do not understand the hero's journey. They don't understand this, pretty core nature of storytelling. Instead, they overpower the hero, they underpower the villain, and they take away the natural conflict or challenge that the hero has. So there is no suspense, there is no learning that the hero goes from. Instead, you're just kind of watching a video game. You're watching a character go from A to B. The stakes are non-existent. And that's ultimately what a hero's journey is. So when we talk about villains, it's really important that they are powered, that they do have a major kind of impact or threat to the hero. Otherwise, there's very little purpose for them. You're just having kind of random bad guys. And the hero comes along and easily defeats them and moves on to the next conflict. It is broken. It is like somebody took a joke, and the joke is like a Joss Whedon type joke of, the villain comes in like, ha, ha, ha. Actually, the perfect example of this is Peter David, a long time ago in, I think, the Hulk and X Factor, but I don't remember if it went into the Hulk, but it was in X Factor. There's this villain is like, I am going to defeat all the mutants, and he like had built an armor set for himself, and like, this is the kill monster armor that is going to defeat everybody. But then the hero, like, it's on one page, it's not an entire comic, but then the hero, the villain in coming screws it all up by, the armor sucks, so it blows up, and then it's like the hero never even knows it existed, and it's meant to be a funny one-page gag. And it's fine. As a gag, there's nothing wrong with it. But somehow that gag became the crux of a lot of stories. The heroes are, hey, angry, it's always the angry white supremacists are down on the subway, like pushing and saying mean names to villains, or sorry, not to villains, to just to random people. And the hero comes in, and it's like Captain Marvel shows up to bust some heads from some, generic bad guys who have laser guns who get defeated in like half a second. There is no hero's journey. Hero learns nothing. But anyway, let me get to the mail. But that was a big ass lead in to get to kind of the crux of what a villain needs to be. So the question is about a rogues gallery. It says, "Hello, Percherino. First off, you should get a PO box so people can mail you Arby's coupons, something I'm sure you enjoy." Look, my feud with Arby's is absolutely me punching down. Arby's is a pathetic shell of a villain. It holds no threat to me whatsoever unless I actually go and eat that food, in which case it's mortal peril. But Arby's is a example of a terrible villain. Anyway, can't succeed as a hero, cannot succeed as a villain. Mail goes on. So Spider-Man and Batman easily has the best two rogues gallery, but who has the third? Is it Flash? What's your top three Marvel and DC rogues gallery? I think having strong list of villains makes great heroes. 100% agree. Even manga creates a list of villains for its heroes, like One Piece. Luffy going against Crocodile, Don Flamingo, and Kato makes Luffy really great at a hero and not just a silly rubber carnivore. And that sentence was why I did the big long lead in. I did. Yeah, absolutely. If you look at Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates and that entire crew, if the villains all sucked, like if nobody got any more threatening than Buggy, there would be like it would be a non no it'd be a non-show. It'd be a non no, nobody would watch that. It would there'd be no point to it. But in Crocodile, when Luffy went up against Crocodile, Crocodile was threatening. Crocodile it effing impaled him. Like it was threatening. Luffy was going to die. That was why it worked. You have to, Don Flamingo, incredibly threatening. If you don't give people something to overcome, then it's worthless. It says one other thought is to flip it. With DC and Marvel being connected worlds, why aren't there more villain cross-pollination like Spider-Man and Daredevil will share the Kingpin? Especially on Marvel's side, where 80% happens in New York. Why don't we see Kraven go and fight Iron Man in a battle of technology versus natural skill, or Mirror Master fight a Green Lantern in a battle of light and refraction? Okay, yeah, that checks out. Sure. No, I mean, agreed. That sounds good. I think. Look, so that's the end of the mail. So who has the best rogues gallery? Um, well, I think probably you're going to need to look into characters like. The problem is you have to look into the past. So if you forget about what's going on today, then I would say you have a lot of really strong contenders. Some of Superman's rogues gallery is actually pretty cool if you look at it. The Fantastic Four had a pretty colorful collection of villains that was pretty great. There's a bunch of characters like that who I think have a pretty great roster of villains. The challenge is they've been completely neutered and for all intents and purposes like eliminated in recent months, years. I think I don't know if again talking about all time. I think I'd probably. I mean, I always enjoyed the Fantastic Four Rogues Gallery. You had everything from the Super Scroll. You had Doctor Doom in there. You have Diablo. You have you have a ton of different characters. You have the Wizard. You had you had a wide variety of characters that could be pretty threatening and with very different motivations. I always liked their characters. Superman, I think, as well, had some pretty good characters too. But Superman, I mean, Superman always would kind of not struggle exactly, but his villains. The challenge there was you always had to figure out how to make them threatening to Superman, and that was a problem for a lot of writers. But those would work really well. I think over on the DC side further. I don't think Green Lantern ever had a great sense. Obviously, the Flash did. I think the Legion of Superheroes had a great rogues gallery over time. I think a lot of really great characters there. Who else? I'm trying. I mean, it's funny because at times I think characters set up pretty cool things, I think that was one of the interesting things Miss Marvel seemed to be on the path to doing, and then kind of abandoned. Unfortunately, it's just the handling of villains in the last 10 years or so, roughly. The Captain America is a good example of somebody who I thought had a really great rogues gallery of characters until this is somehow the comic became like, well, we got the Red Skull. Everything has to revolve around the Red Skull. But if you go further back and you had kind of ridiculous characters like Batroc, you had Baron Zemo, you had you just had a lot of kind of different elements that went down. But I'm probably going to go with it's probably somewhere between the Flash, Superman, and the Fantastic Four, who I think had a really powerful rogues gallery outside of Batman and Spider-Man. It's probably where you're going to go. By the way, I mean, I've said this before. I think one of the reasons why Wonder Woman has struggled to get over is she has a crap rogues gallery. I mean, they've never been able to figure out how to really do more with her, and she definitely has villains, good villains, but not very many of them. And they kind of have the same problem as Captain America. They start recycling the same one or two over and over again. Anyway, what do you think? Which character am I forgetting about? Great rogues gallery. Who is it? Who do we have? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.